everyone. My name is Regan. Welcome.
And I'm Josh. We're so glad you've joined us. We're continuing our new series called Going God's Way, where we're learning what it means to follow God.
With all this talk about driving, I was thinking we should get the kids to drive. I've got my keys right here. I got them somewhere. Oh yeah, right here, got them.
No, Regan, the kids can't drive your car. You need to have a license to drive a car. And you have to be old enough to even get a license. It would not be a good idea to let them drive your car.
Well, I don't know about that. It's really not all that hard. I mean, I picked up this book. It's a driver's manual. And if they read it, everything in here, then surely they will know how to drive.
No, that's actually not the way it works.
Well, sure it is. When I was a teenager, I had to learn everything in this book, and then I could drive.
I think you're forgetting some really important steps. You had to learn everything in that book. Then you had to take a test to make sure you knew everything. And then they gave you a license that said you could practice with someone who already knew how to drive. So they could show you how to drive after you practiced for a long time, like 2 years. Then you could take another test, and then they let you drive a car. Doing it any other way would not be wise.
So you're telling me that it's not enough to just know everything?
There's so much more to driving than a bunch of head knowledge. You can know a lot of things, but not be wise. Our story today is about someone who is very wise because God made him wise.
I've heard of him. Are you talking about King Solomon?
That's right. Solomon was David's son, and after David died, he became king. God gave him a very interesting choice. Let's check out our story to hear what happened.
Sounds great.
King David's reign had come to an end, and Israel was ready for a new king. God told the priest Zadok and the prophet Nathan to go to David's son Solomon and anoint him king over all Israel. Solomon was very happy to be king. After he was crowned, he went to worship the Lord. He offered hundreds of sacrifices to show God how much he loved him. That night, as the exhausted King Solomon fell into a deep sleep, he had a dream. God gave him a message in the dream. "Solomon, whatever you want, I'll give it to you," God said. God wanted to bless King Solomon because God knew that the people of Israel needed a good king that loved the Lord. Solomon thought about the dream and knew exactly what to ask God. He did not need any more money or possessions. Instead, as the leader of a great people, he needed wisdom. God answered his prayer, and Solomon became the wisest man in the world. In addition to making him wise, God also made him very rich and honorable. Solomon's first great job was to build the new temple. This temple was one of the most beautiful and expensive buildings in the world. Solomon ordered precious wood, valuable stone, much gold, silver, and fine cloth. The new temple would be a marvel of beauty because it was the house of God. 7 years later, when the temple was finally finished, everyone in Israel came to the celebration. They offered thousands of sacrifices, prayed long prayers, and sang many songs. God was very happy and filled the temple with the light of his glory. The people praised God with all their hearts. But something sad happened to Solomon. Solomon was so rich and could have anything his heart desired. What he desired more than anything else was wives. So Solomon got them, hundreds of them. He had 1,000 women that he treated as his wives. Solomon disobeyed God, as God said that a king should only have one wife. These new wives came from all over the world. They did not know the one true God and worshipped false idols. They turned Solomon's heart away from God, and soon Solomon started praying to these false gods as well. Disobedience became prevalent, and soon God's blessing on Solomon would be revoked. God punished Solomon and told him that his kingdom would be split in two. After Solomon's reign, his son would be rejected by the people of Israel. As wise as Solomon was, his wisdom, riches, and women brought him destruction, and God rejected him as king.
That's so interesting that Solomon had all this wisdom, but then he didn't use it to make wise choices.
I know, how disappointing. I think sometimes we act in the same way.
What do you mean?
Well, have you ever known what you're supposed to do, and then you didn't do it?
Well, maybe, yes, I have.
Well, what if we used all that knowledge to help make us wise? I have an idea. Let's pretend that we are the sponge, and this water is knowledge. It's all the things that we hear at church from our parents or when we read our Bibles, and since we are a sponge, we're soaking it all up, right? So what happens to the sponge?
It gets wet?
Correct, it gets full. In this case, we'll say that it's filled up with knowledge. This sponge knows a lot of things, but then we're faced with a challenge in life. We have a lot of knowledge in us, but that's not good enough. Now we're feeling the pressure of life. Wisdom is when we act on that knowledge and we choose to act in the right way. The knowledge that we had comes out just like that. And it's a choice. That choice is wisdom. Do we make good choices based on that knowledge we have, or bad choices?
I see. So the first step is filling up with the right kind of knowledge so we make good choices.
That's right. Solomon started out that way. He was filled up with knowledge and wisdom from God. But then all of his wives led him away from God. And pretty soon, he wasn't making wise choices anymore. It was like he took a giant detour. He was filled up with the wrong stuff. If we keep filling up on God by reading our Bibles, praying, and listening to godly leaders, then when we face difficult choices in our life, God's wisdom will spill out of us. He will keep us on the right path. God wants us to make wise choices, and He will help us.
Hey, that's what our Bible verse has been about this whole month. Let's go over it together. Ready?
I will guide you and teach you the way you should go. I will give you good advice and watch over you. Psalm 32:8.
Let's say it one more time.
I will guide you and teach you in the way you should go. I will give you good advice and watch over you. Psalm 32:8. God's way really is the best way, which is why it's important to follow God. He is wise. That's our bottom line for today. Follow God. He is wise. Let's say it together. Ready? Follow God. He is wise. No matter what you face, you can always turn to God. He speaks to you through His Word, the Bible. Well, we'll see you next time, friends. Bye.
I am the way and the truth and the life, and no one knows the Father but through me. I am the way and the truth and the life, and no one knows the Father but through me.
my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to Thee. Take my hands and let them move at the impulse of Thy love, at the impulse of Thy love.
Hey friends, my name is Mr. Josh, and we have been supporting an amazing project called Operations Christmas Child. I know you're probably thinking, it's not Christmas, but did you know they hand out those shoeboxes all year long? You should have a template just like this. And when you cut it up and fold it up, it's gonna look pretty cool, like this. And when you get a chance, I want you to go ahead, get your offering, and put it in your container. Let's find out together more about this offering project.
Did you know that on average 30,000 children a day are hearing the good news of Jesus through a shoebox gift? And 1 in 6 of those children will give their lives to Christ. After receiving shoeboxes, the children are invited back to participate in the Greatest Journey discipleship program. The Greatest Journey is the follow-up program to the shoebox outreach events, and it's one of the world's largest discipleship programs. Since the Greatest Journey discipleship program began 10 years ago, over 1 million teachers have been trained to share the gospel in a child-friendly way. And over 23 million children have had the opportunity to go through the Greatest Journey lessons. More than 11 million children have given their lives to Jesus. And the multiplication continues, as beyond 12 million children have committed to pray and share their new faith with their family and friends.
Just $6 covers the cost of the Greatest Journey program for a child. It includes a colorful handbook, a Bible, and a certificate that the child will receive when they graduate the program. It also covers the cost of trainings for the teacher. Many teachers want to reach their children in the community, but they don't have any training on how to share Jesus with others. So why don't you go ahead and put your offering in now, if you didn't get a chance to, so that more kids can hear about Jesus. If you've been joining us online, remember that at the end of this month, we will be bringing our filled offering containers back to church when you come to pick up your October ministry boxes. At Children's Ministry, we can show God's love to others by using our loaves and fishes dollars. You all have an opportunity to collect loaves and fishes dollars by 3 ways. 1, bring a friend to church and invite them to watch online with you. 2, memorize the Bible verse for the month and tell your leader or grown-up in your house. 3, reading your Bible at least 3 times this week, and make sure that you share that with your grown-up or your leader. There is an online form for the grown-up as well as your leader to fill out every week. Our team will track how many loaves and fishes dollars are in your account. In the Bible, there is a story about one boy who gave his lunch to Jesus so that it could be multiplied and feed 5,000 people. Jesus can do the same with all the loaves and fishes dollars you collect. Every dollar can be used to help someone here in Calgary, in Canada, or a different part of the world. Remember, it's always better to give than to receive. Did you know that Children's Ministry has an awesome online store for you to spend your loaves and fishes dollars? You can find out more details about the Loaves and Fishes store and how to spend it at the CSC website under the Children's Ministry page. Thanks for listening, friends.